What's going on? My name is Chad. I'm your tall tailor, and today we're going to be doing some embroidery. But before we get started, make sure to follow me on Instagram at The Tall Tailor. That's where I'll be posting all the content I make and more stuff that doesn't make a video. Now, for those of you who don't know, embroidery is a type of hand sewing that focuses on stitching patterns and sort of embellishments onto fabric. And for the longest time, something I've always wanted to embroider was a denim jacket. Now, to start this project, you're gonna need 6 things. The first being a garment of your choice. Now, I personally chose a denim jacket, but you can embroider like pants or a shirt or like a hoodie or anything like that. Personally, I wanted to do a jacket. And if you do plan on using a jacket, I suggest going to the thrift store. You can always find like super cheap, dope denim jackets there, or denim things in general. Thrift stores have like a whole bunch of denim stuff. Now, the second thing you'll be needing is embroidery floss. Embroidery floss is just a special type of thread that's used for embroidery. You can get in like a whole bunch of colors. Now, floss is thicker than regular thread, and it can be separated into 6 individual strands. You can either use like the whole entire thing with the 6 strands, or like 5 or 4, or whatever sort of density you want to use for your embroidery. Now, the third thing you'll need are needles. You can basically use any type of needle. Just make sure that the needle that you use has an eye that's large enough for the floss to fit through. Now, the fourth thing you'll need are embroidery hoops. They're made of plastic or wood. They're basically hoops that you secure your garment to. It kind of stretches the garment out as well. That's a lot easier to embroider your image. All right, so now that you got all the tools out of the way, the fifth thing that you'll need is a drawing or an image of some sort. If you want to do it like freeform, just off the top of your head, that's totally cool. I can't do that. I'm not sick of drawing like that. So I got my friend Dante to draw up an image for me that I'm going to embroider. All right, so now the sixth and final thing that you're going to need is patience. You need a whole bunch of patience, especially if this is your first time. It's going to take a while. You're going to mess up. So take a deep breath, chill out, you know what I'm saying? Definitely plan out what you're gonna do first. And if you make a mistake, don't even stress about it. It's not that big of a deal. You can always just redo your stuff. All right, now that we have all the steps out of the way and you know what you're gonna do, let's get to sewing. A couple months back, I was at the flea market and they had a pretty diverse selection of denim jackets. I looked them over, picked the one that suited me the best. It's a nice medium blue, so it'll match with my current wardrobe and contrast the embroidery well. After I printed out the picture, I positioned it on the back of the jacket where I thought it would look well, and I began to trace the picture onto some tracing paper. Alright, so this isn't really tracing paper, it's tissue paper, but it's like pretty much the same thing, right? So now that the image is transferred onto the paper, I took the paper, put it on the back of the jacket, and traced over the entire thing with black marker. Now that the image is on the jacket, I can bust out the thread and start embroidering. Out of the gate, I did make a little bit of a blunder. I didn't use an embroider hoop for some reason. I just thought I didn't need it, but don't be like me. Use an embroider hoop, especially for a larger piece of fabric, because this took me way longer than it needed to. So I did end up finishing this section, but it's not as even as it would have been if I'd used the hoops. So now I smartened up, started using the hoops, and I'm using this technique called satin stitch, which is the stitch that I'm going to use primarily for this image. It's just a series of parallel stitches which are used to completely fill in an area. As you can see here, I'm doing that with the red, and I'm going to be doing that with other colors as well too. Alright, so let's talk about this image. This guy here is Sinistar from the game Sinistar. I used to play this game all the time when I was younger. These guys from school gave me a CD with a lot of older games on it, SNES, Game Boy, arcade games, that kind of stuff. And honestly, shout out to them because that CD held me down for so long. My 3 favorite games on there were Mega Man X, Harvest Moon, and for some reason this game. I'll try and link some gameplay down below, but the premise is you're a spaceship and you have to defeat Sinistar. This game used to low-key freak me out. He just had a weird, creepy character design, and his voice was mad scary to me. I guess it also didn't help that I played the game in the dark, but what can you do? So I don't know exactly why I chose to embroider him, but when I wanted to embroider something on a jacket, this was the first image that came to mind, and I just kind of went with it. And we're done. yeah, this game when I was a kid used to freak me out like a whole bunch, so it's kind of crazy that I'm drawing it now. But yeah, it turned out really, really well. This is the first embroidery piece I've done in like the longest time. It's actually the first one I've ever completed, so shout out to me. Yeah, it looks super dope. It has this sort of retro vibe, which is exactly what I wanted. Ideally, I want it to be like a lot bigger, but I kind of didn't plan that part out. But if I were to do this again, I'd make it a lot bigger, sort of like take up the entire back of the jacket, but this is totally fine. Maybe in the future I'll add like some like spaceships or like lasers coming out. Is that some crazy lightning or fire or whatever, flames or something? Yeah, it looks super dope. I'll probably wear this in the summer. It's like super cold right now, so I'm not gonna get a lot of wear of a denim jacket. One more thing, I put some interfacing behind the jacket to sort of like secure the back of the thread. I'm not sure if like interfacing is the exact thing that you're supposed to use, but it's like a fusible interfacing. I just glued it down with the iron. Yeah, it sort of like secured the thread pretty well, so I'm not sure if that's what you're supposed to use, but I use that. Yeah. All right, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, this is my first, as I said, my first embroidery piece I've done in like so long. I'm actually glad how it turned out really, really well. If you guys want to see more of this piece and more of the other pieces I make, as I said before, make sure to follow me on Instagram at @TheTallTailor. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. Yeah, if you guys have ever like tried embroidery or want to do embroidery, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching. Bye.